Welcome to the Perfect Storm. Current news and Bible prophecy, Justin.
Awesome, Phil. Awesome.
How are you,
Good to
Kyle?
see you.
You nailed it. I'm really good that you got that right.
You know, you got to have a
We have
few
got it wrong a
practices
few
before you-
times, so we all got it wrong.
Do you know anything about? Look, my wife's Canadian,
Mm.
and up in Canada, I almost
He
said-
doesn't know. He
I
doesn't know.
almost said Canada. Up in Canada, there's a lot of bears.
Is it?
There's black bears, grizzly bears, Kodiak bears.
Bears.
What do you know about poking the bear, Justin?
poking the bear's an analogy, Phil, and there's a lot this week of bear poking. Poke the bear. It's an analogy because you can do it to a black bear and you might get away with it. They'll probably run away because they're a bit timid. A brown bear is really a Kodiak. Kodiak is a brown bear. He doesn't hibernate because he's got food all year.
Yeah.
But interior bears in Alaska and Canada, they're grizzlies because they sleep half the year. They hibernate.
Yeah.
And when they wake up from their hibernation, they are incredibly grumpy, and hence they get the name grizzly. You never want to poke a grizzly bear.
Well, just so everyone knows, I probably wouldn't poke a black bear either.
No, probably not. Don't poke any. Maybe even a koala bear. He'll have a swipe at you.
Yeah.
The Aussies, you know?
Yeah, they scratch you quite a lot, actually.
Oh, vicious. You want the welder's gloves on, you mate? You pick one of those.
We were
up.
driving along once, and back of Currumbin Valley, like Currumbin, sort of halfway between Currumbin and Currumbin Valley on the Gold Coast. There was a koala had got hit the day before right there, and we came past the next day, and the little Joey was there on the side of the road looking for its mum.
Wow.
And that's how I know that koalas scratch a lot.
You grabbed it, did you?
We had to get it in a towel and take it to the vet. Yeah.
My
Good on you, Kyle.
great grandfather used to shoot koala bears
Why?
because everyone did.
You know
What?
they're not bears, right?
No, I know. We call them koala bears, and they would shoot them for their skins and all that. And that's why there weren't many around for a long time. Now they're everywhere, folks. If you're watching overseas, we don't shoot them anymore.
They're called
But
drop bears.
back in the day,
Just
yeah,
the bushfires get them now.
yeah.
yeah.
So staying in Australia, we've got unrealised tax gain. What are we talking about here?
Is this overlapping with the poking of the bear?
Yeah.
Well, I think that is a
I think
bear
it's poking a
poking.
bear.
That's the Albanese government is poking the Australian electorate. Kyle, what's going on with this tax stuff?
So they've had this, they've planned this for quite some time, and it hasn't been voted through yet.
Did they state this before the election?
Yeah, it's been part of their policy for like 3 or 4 years.
Unreal.
So when this happens, you, the Australian audience, cannot complain that you didn't want this to happen. You voted this in.
Well, most people don't know about this, Kyle, surely. What is it?
Basically, the government is looking to change the tax that is charged on your superannuation if you have more than $3 million. And you think, oh, well, I don't have $3 million, so that's all right. Well, it used to be a really amazing thing if you knew a millionaire.
Yeah.
And now everybody that owns a
everyone's
home
house
in
costs $1
Sydney
million
is a
bucks.
millionaire.
Yeah.
So
A dump.
just give it a few years and $3 million won't be that crazy.
But
And
who
then-
says they're not going to move it once they start
Well,
it?
that's right. Once they
Who
start,
says it's going to just stay in your super?
once they start the GST, they can't stop the GST. How can you ever get yourself off taxes? And that's what we're seeing in America with Trump wanting to, do no tax on tips and start to lower taxes and increase tariffs. He's trying to give power back to the people and not just be taxing the people. So Labor is proposing that earnings on super balances above $3 million will be taxed at 30% instead of 15%. If you hold the super, if you hold the asset for more than 12 months, you actually get a 5% deduction on that. So it's actually 10% for more than 12 months of investment.
It's getting complex, Kyle.
So they're going to start charging 30% on that, and they're going to charge it on unrealized gains as well. So
Look at this.
Labor's
That bit, the unrealized gain, that means they're going to tax you because the value of your asset, your property or whatever,
Yeah.
even though you didn't sell it,
Yep.
but it went up. So you got to pay
So now you
tax
have to
on
pay
the
tax on
amount.
it.
It went up according
And
to
if
who?
it goes down,
It's disgraceful.
here's the kicker. If it goes down, they won't give you your money back. They will just give you a credit for in the future if it goes up. So if it goes down to nothing,
Wow.
you have a lot of credits, which is a whole lot of nothing.
I really, really don't like this, and I believe they are poking the bear.
Mm-hmm.
The bear being the Australian public.
I'm going to go out on a limb and poke the bear a little bit more with a short video. And I think it's important that Australians be poked on this one.
Oi, what's that? 1,301, 1,000. Oh, yeah, I'm just counting the money that the government here in Alaska just gave me. What, you lost your job? No, it's oil money. What is that? Well, because I live in Alaska and Alaska has lots of oil, when the oil companies take the oil and sell it and make a profit, all the residents of Alaska get a dividend. An oil dividend. Whoa, that is awesome. What are you doing now? Oh, sorry, now I'm just counting my son's oil money. He gets money too? Well, he owns the oil just as much as every other Alaskan resident. Oh, yeah, I guess. Oh, hey, I mean, talk about the lucky country. You've got every mineral under the sun in the ground there. You must be getting so many mining dividends. No. A coal dividend? No. A gas dividend? Nope. Uranium dividend? Nah. Lithium dividend? Nope. Well, you exported just as much oil as we did, and you're telling me you don't get an oil dividend? No. Actually, I think we subsidize our fossil fuel companies more than they pay us in royalties.
Wow.
What? Come on. Oh, hang on. You pay them to take your resources so that they can make billions of dollars.
And not pay tax.
And you're not getting a dividend. You don't have to laugh.
And they don't pay tax.
You're getting scammed, bro.
Wow.
Yeah, okay. I guess we're not as progressive as you guys.
And,
What'd
and
you call me?
Kyle, this doesn't matter which side is in politics, just to say this isn't a political statement. This is, we're getting ripped off as a country.
When Tucker Carlson came here and toured around the country, he said the people who set your policies are not working for you. It was very clear to him very quickly, just on the ridiculous things that were just very noticeable, that our government is not working for us.
Crazy.
They are clearly working for those industries. And there's other videos on...
You know, in James, the book of James, it says in the last days that they have hoarded wealth. They have not paid the labourer, but instead the wealthy have hoarded it. And today, right across our Western world, and no matter which part of the world, that's exactly the big corporation, the multi-billionaires, not millionaires, are just getting richer and richer, and the average Joe is just missing out on it. And it's fulfilling what Scripture said would happen.
Wow.
Anyway, poke the bear, eh?
Poke the bear.
Maybe Kyle's poking the bear with that one.
I feel like I've been poked.
If Taiwan was a bear, they're getting poked.
Taiwan. Hegstead, is that a
What is it?
Hegstead?
No.
What's his name?
Just Hegseth.
Hegstead.
No T.
Say it.
Hegseth.
Hegseth. Nah, it's got a T.
It doesn't.
Whatever his name
Here it is. Here it is. It's on
I'm
the
glad
screen.
you said
Okay.
it because
It's on the
Justin,
screen. Hegseth.
I'll be saying it worse than you, mate.
Hegseth. Hegseth came out on Sunday. I'm sitting in the airport on Sunday, Phil, reading The Australian, because I wouldn't normally. What do you do in an airport? And he's in there saying, hey, we believe China's intention to invade Taiwan is imminent. And if they do, the consequences will be devastating for China. And then the same breath, oh, by the way, Australia, you know how you pay 2% of your gross domestic product into building up your military, running your military? You got to move that up to 3.5%.
Wow.
What are they telling us here?
The war is coming.
It's coming.
Protect yourself, Australia.
Northern China is looking for a new Southern China.
But what did he mean when he said, if they do invade Taiwan, it will be devastating. The consequences will be devastating for China.
Well, the reaction.
the bear's going to turn around and swipe. In this case, Taiwan's not the bear. The United States of America says we've got Taiwan's back.
Well, they're just looking for an excuse.
Well,
Because China's been poking America as well. Yeah, we talked about last week the Harvard students.
yeah.
We've got
Lots of
other
ways.
things going on this week.
They're bringing in, what was that? They just
Come
got
on, Kyle,
arrested
help
in
us
the
out.
airport. They got arrested in the
Yeah.
airport bringing something in, Kyle. What was that?
It
It was like a fungus. China National.
Something to kill lots of people.
starts with a P.
I'm looking it up.
Starts with a P. Anyway.
The point is here, the Taiwan issue's gone on and on and on. We haven't heard the defense. I was going to say he's a minister, but they don't have ministers in the government in the US. The defense secretary has come out and said, hey, it's imminent. China looks like they're about ready to go. And if they do, we're going to match them on this. We're going to defend Taiwan. This is big. This is World War III. And, okay, we get a little dramatic on this show because we're dealing with end-time events and
Just
everything.
because
and
you're on it in general, I think.
I'm the drama queen.
But Justin-
You're a bit dramery, Phil. Are you dramery?
Well, China's been threatening to attack Taiwan forever.
Well, they believe it's theirs.
What's the name of
Part
your
of
new
China.
dog?
Diva.
I think you're the diva.
Diva's a great little dog.
What's it called?
We should bring Diva on the show.
biological
Pathogen.
pathogen.
Yeah.
I
There
told
should
you it
be.
started with a P.
Well, a pathogen is
For the radio,
many
you better
things.
read this out. Read
Chinese
this out.
nationals charged with conspiracy and smuggling a dangerous biological pathogen into the US for their work at a University of Michigan laboratory.
Look, they're getting into universities.
I'm not. That could be a bit of drama, just that headline too, and we don't know fully what's going on. But the point is, the world is getting closer and closer to a kinetic conflict.
Yep.
And the Wall Street Journal, I just heard this today, has announced now we're not in a post-war world, which was after the Second World War when Kyle was young. It's now pre-war. We live in a pre-war world.
Wow.
I've never heard that before.
So we're going into it.
Well, they're saying the world economy now is set up to get ready for the next war.
Okay. I want to go biblically. Biblically,
It'll be
as a
biblical.
as a Christian growing up, for some reason, I don't know whether I heard it or people told me, I don't feel there's going to be a World War III. When I say I don't feel, I think I was taught that there won't be a World War III.
They also taught there
remember.
wouldn't be a World War One, and there wouldn't be a World War Two.
I remember hearing that there won't
And-
be time for a World War III.
Three.
I've never heard that, but whoever told you that
You're a
is
little bit
wrong.
older.
They're wrong.
It was a younger thing.
I'm
So
the
there could
drama queen here, and they're wrong.
There could definitely be a World War
The
III.
Bible says in Matthew 24 there will be wars
and rumors of wars.
and rumors of wars, but see, the end is not yet. So they're never a sign of how late it is in history.
Yeah.
You can have wars. There have been wars all through history. You read the Bible's filled with war. There's wars all through every nation's history. Unfortunately, humanity resorts to violence quite rapidly when they can't work it out. And right now, they're in this panic phase of trying to avert the war. The difference with this war, it will surpass the First War and the Second World War in ways we can't imagine because of technology now. And it is something I doubt that we'll have this show if it goes to that because
Will be taken off.
the
Yeah.
infrastructure, well, who says we're going to have an electrical grid?
Yeah.
That's the first thing. What they're doing with, we'll come to Russia in a minute, but this attack that's just happened with them, what's the next step? They do cyber attack.
Yep.
They try and destroy the internet and your access to the internet.
And then power.
Satellites, they go and take out all your GPS and everything because they try and blind their enemy. And then they go for power grids. Then they start shooting one another. So the stages that they go through with all this. And folks, we hate to be melodramatic. What did you say I was before, Kyle? A drama
I said your dog was called a diva.
diva. I'm a diva. I hate to be melodramatic, but we are actually living in, according to the Wall Street Journal, a pre-war period. And I don't think it's, we're going to have to wait and wonder how long. This is getting hot. It's getting very hot in the kitchen, and Taiwan is a massive point of poking the bear when the bear's going to turn around and swat.
Well, this is our backyard. Taiwan's our backyard.
Well, and so America's trying to get all semiconductor production, manufacturing into China as well, because they don't want to be reliant on these external sources. They know that that's fragile. And we noticed that during COVID, of course, the price of every Land Cruiser went through the roof because they couldn't make new ones because the chips all came from one place and the boats weren't running because you have to wear a mask in the ocean.
That was a mouthful. Taiwan is a source of super chips and semiconductors. By the way, America's trying to set that up in Arizona and in their own country. It'll only take 20 years. I listened this week, 20 years before they're fully up to.
Better start now than later.
They're about 20 years behind. There's other countries that do it, but Taiwan has the best on earth, and even China, they have to go through them. Taiwan have the best super chips, semiconductors, which is in everything we own now, everything we own, every car, everything needs all these chips to run the motherboard and the ECU for their motor. Everything has it. So Taiwan is of massive economic. If they take Taiwan off the map, the West can't access that anymore. Trump's tariffs won't mean much.
No.
They will. What are they going to make?
Well, for 20 years, nothing.
The TV up here, everything's got a chip in it.
Yep.
Everything's got a chip in it. This is really serious. And if you're listening to the show, we're going to promote a book today. It's a new book we haven't promoted before. You need to get this book because it will get you spiritually ready for what's coming. It won't tell you about end time events like our other books do. This book will actually prepare you spiritually
Yep. This is a
for
good
what's
book.
coming. It's a very good book.
When are you going to promote it?
I'll give the number out. I won't say the name of the book yet. 0482 082 876. So write the number down. 0482 082 876. We haven't ever promoted this book before. We're promoting it for the first time today.
You need this book.
It's a short book. It's a book my wife and I read a chapter a day. It is awesome.
Yep.
And it's just short. It doesn't take you long to get
Easy
through.
read, too.
Easy read, but life-changing.
Let's go to
Poking the bear.
Ukraine. Poking the bear.
The
next to
Russian
them.
bear. And he's a grizz. He's a grizzly bear.
And they poked the bear deeply.
It's on the screen. They're showing for the radio listeners these drones, a drone attack. Brilliantly executed, Kyle.
Apparently, up to 5,000 kilometres inland, they've basically got shipping containers with a false roof on the top, and they've got like a honeycomb grid of wooden boxes filled with drones. And then remotely, they're activating these roofs to come off, the drones to fly up and out. And they've parked the trucks strategically alongside their air bases, the runways, the airports.
It's a piece of brilliance, this move.
There's speculation as to why the bombers are out in the open on the runways. That's apparently something to do with an earlier peace treaty that was signed way back in the day where you have to have them out on display, ready to go, ready to fly, but available for satellite images to see.
This is crazy, Justin. This
And the bridge as well. Then
Yeah.
they blew up a bridge.
sorry,
Not
I'll
just
cut you
one
off.
bridge. They took out railway bridges and they blew up a headquarters at the nuclear submarine base as well.
You know why this is crazy? Trump didn't know. Look, I've got a big question here because I'm sorry.
We think he didn't.
Okay,
He
well,
says he
if
didn't.
England did England know?
Press secretary says Trump didn't know. And she
England
was
would have
very
known,
angry
surely.
when she was asked it.
Wow. This is
MI6?
There's so many implications of this. Let's just go one by one here. First one, I've got to say, this is like you can buy a drone at Kmart. And they're blowing up $1 billion weapons with $100 weapons.
This is an act of war. This is there's a threat to Taiwan, right? We're going to come for you. This is an act of war. I know they're in a war.
They're
but
in
this
a
is
war.
an act of
This is the West. You can smell the West here.
1.5 years of planning and no information. Could be that the Pentagon did not inform him, but the US government knew. So they're saying it's definitely CIA and definitely MI6 sort of influence and 1.6 years of planning.
And German
Well,
intelligence
you know
are
what?
saying Berlin's involved.
Trump was saying he wasn't informed.
Well, you've got an issue with your intelligence, and that
Well,
needs to be
That's where,
fixed.
mate,
Well,
I'm a bit sus because
We know that already. don't we?
imagine Trump wasn't told he's trying to work out peace on one side and his own people are undermining him. What happens
Well,
the
that's
next
never
day?
happened before, has it?
No, but what happens this version of Trump with his FBI and everything else? Those people are on very thin ice, and so I don't know, but it seems a bit. The thing a couple of weeks ago, Phil, the Europeans announced, NATO, we've given Ukraine permission to do deep strikes into Russia. That's what they were talking about. They parked these things 4,000, 5,000 Ks into Russia beside the Air Force base, flip the thing open, fly the FPV. Is that what you call them?
Mhm.
What's it stand for?
First-person viewer is just the technology that's on the drone, so you can
So
watch
you have
it.
your own little screen, your goggles
Yeah,
on,
you
and
watch
you're
it.
watching the drone directly.
So someone's controlling
There'll be
each.
people listening to this have that drone at home.
Is someone controlling each drone?
Yep.
Mhm.
You could AI will do it, but these weren't AI. These were cheap. These were just guys that they parked the truck, they jumped out, blown the thing off, and
Well,
then
they've got
took
some
off.
serious weapon on them.
Well, you just need a rocket-propelled grenade or something on it. And they've targeted the planes where their fuel cells are, like in the wings and the big bombers. Those smaller, like they look like an F-111. I've forgotten the
What-
name of them.
Weren't they
Bombed in the middle of them.
the nuclear carrying?
They're
bombers?
nuclear carrying bombers. They're like the Americans have their B-52s. They're old now. These are old aircraft that have been upgraded. They have a triad of nuclear defense or attack the Russians. They have the submarines. They have the intercontinental missiles, ballistic missiles, and they have these strike bombers. And they've taken out, it's debated how many they actually got. The Ukrainians say we got 40 of them. The Russians are saying there's not that many. It's probably, they said 8 Russians. It's probably in between the two. It's probably 20 or something. Who knows? But this is a Putin, mate. He's a Ruski. He's a rower. He's
I
a
reckon,
Viking
mate,
descendant.
this reeks, for me, this reeks of the UK.
Ooh.
I think the Prime Minister there is a warmonger. I think he's after him.
I listened to a guy today. What's his name?
Jeffrey Sachs.
Jeffrey Sachs called him the biggest warmonger in the
Let's
world.
play it.
I agree.
Let's
I
watch
agree.
it. This is worth watching.
He's
This
smart.
attack brought us closer to global nuclear war. This was an attack on one part of Russia's strategic fleet. And it's extraordinarily dangerous. It may be viewed as a video game, watching planes destroyed, but we took a step closer to nuclear war today. Zelensky, this group in Ukraine, I wouldn't trust for a moment. Not
What? Wouldn't trust the what?
All the
for a moment,
listeners, you
it
think Zelensky is a wonderful hero? There's an alternative narrative. He's actually the one seems to be stopping it. He was put in there for me in the Colour Revolution anyway.
Well, they were meeting for peace talks while it was happening, or
it's
in
a
the day
disgrace,
after
mate.
it happened. Anyways,
The
back
day
to
after.
Jeffrey.
Day
Well,
after.
hours before they bombed them. And so that peace talk went for 1 hour and they said, we'll swap some prisoners. That's all they did.
our
Anyway.
lives. But having said that, either the U.S. Government knew and assisted, which is horrific to think about, or
that's
it
interesting.
didn't know, which is also horrific
They're
to
both
think about.
horrific.
Because then we're just bobbing in the waves as we step closer to Armageddon.
You know, when someone like Jeffrey Sachs says we're
No intel is what he's talking about.
He
As if
uses,
they don't know.
He uses the word Armageddon. That's a Bible word, Phil. Ha-Megiddo, Mount Megiddo, Armageddon. It's just where the last battle for the last good king in Israel happens. Pharaoh Necho and all these guys are going fighting with each other. And this, Josiah, what's his name, the last decent king? He goes out to have this final battle and is killed. And it really is the end of Israel. And that term is often used in modern vernacular. He's using Armageddon as the last battle because the book of Revelation takes that battle in the Old Testament at Mount Megiddo, which was the death nail of Israel, as the final battle in the world is Armageddon. By the way, it's not nuclear Armageddon. There could be a nuclear war, but Armageddon is a great spiritual battle between good and evil just before Jesus comes. And it's as bad as nuclear war is, a spiritual battle is actually deeper than all of it. And that's what it's talking about.
Interesting. This comment here says they're just going to wait out Trump, just like they did the last time. There will be no permanent changes. The deep state is too deep to eliminate without taking down the entire system, and they know it. The United States, as we think it is or should be, is no more. And I bring that up because America was built on, freedom of the, people and, the Constitution and blah, blah, blah.
For the people, by the people.
Well, I don't think it's going to end that way.
No, it's the what we call the deep state is the permanent bureaucracy of unelected officials that are running the government. And the presidents try and get down into that, and they are impervious to what they're doing, and they seem to be running the show. But I'm sure Germany and England have been involved in this. And here's the thing, Phil, when you poke a bear, get ready to run because he's going to be grumpy. And they have poked Russia. Whether you love or hate Russia, whatever, we're just stating facts here. They've poked Russia. Putin is not like Trump. Trump will be just knee-jerk, spontaneous. He's a ranger like myself. They fire right up straight away. Putin is KGB, mate. He's got ice in his veins. They're going to find out who was involved in this. There's nothing left in Ukraine to bomb.
One at a time.
Nothing left to bomb in Ukraine. What are we going to blow up in Ukraine in retaliation? Now it's NATO countries, mate. If it was Germany and England, watch what happens. They're coming in. And guess what they'll do, Kyle? They'll escalate back.
Yeah. They'll say, you've attacked NATO, we're all in.
And we're going to find ourselves because of the guy in the jumpsuit, the Zelensky, who is a comedian, the actor comedian, has drawn the world into a nuclear conflict. And what was all that over again?
Puppet of the globalists.
This is mad. This should stop.
There's a comment on the screen you can read out.
Go, Phil. I don't trust what he puts on screens.
If people knew it was coming, they would be on their knees getting right with God.
It's true. And that's really the point of the book offer as well.
The book, by the way, is called Step Beyond. If you just text STEP to 0482 082 876, this is one of the most cracking little books you'll ever have in your hand. It's a modernized version or an abridged version of the old book Steps to Christ. I find it much easier to read, and it is powerhouse. And even if you've read Steps to Christ, one of the biggest selling books in the history of the world, this book, I read the old one while my wife's reading the new one, and Wendy's reading that one. I'm trying to get through it in the old one, and we ended up just sticking with the new one. It was so much better.
Text the word STEP. STEP?
Step.
0482 082 876. Text the word STEP.
Not bear. Step.
No.
Don't poke the bear.
The issue is here. Look, the big takeaway for me is there's a whole heap of guys that are in leadership and even the deep state, whatever you want to call it, people who are making the calls, but it's the civilian that suffers. the consequences.
They're their sons and daughters that go and fight these
Yep.
wars, and
And who gets
Yep.
bombs dropped on them?
And-
So it's so sad. And we are a bit numb because of, as he said, computer games. We looked at these drones bombing these planes and we're thinking, oh, this is a computer game, really cool. And we're numb to it. But this is actually really bad.
yeah. And I heard someone on YouTube or wherever I was watching trying to say, oh, they were bombing. Ukraine's good because they were just bombing military targets where Russia bombed civilians. I'm sorry, they're both killing people that shouldn't be killed. They just are. That's war. It's awful, and it should stop. We're going to get sucked in and drawn in here. And what's going to stop Israel now? Israel, who see what Zelensky has done in Ukraine, defying Trump. So they're going to think, well, why don't we just go and bomb Iran and start it up with them? Because America's going to have to get involved there too. So this is really silly.
Well, they're stretched, aren't they?
Well,
They
really
got
silly.
the Israel thing. They got the Russia thing, and now they got Taiwan.
so isn't the whole world a little bit stretched when you just think about that for a second? You've got Russia all over Ukraine, threatening Finland and wanting a nice band of protection around itself, like was agreed.
Polish Navy last week.
Polish Navy. Then you've got America that's involved with that, but they're also involved with Taiwan. So you've got China wanting to take Taiwan. It's quickly going to trickle down to Australia, and America knows it. And they've warned Australia, and Australia said, no thanks, mate.
Hegseth
We'll be right.
Hegseth.
said they want to move all their forces from Europe and the Middle East and put them in Asia. They see the biggest threat to the world is communist China. Not the Chinese people. We love the Chinese people. Some of my best friends are Chinese. But the Communist Party in China has such power to manufacture. We can't wage war for long in the West. We run out of ammunition. We run out of missiles. We can't make them fast enough.
And then you've got the Middle East
Even if we up our spending.
completely on fire. So
Ooh.
if one of those things start, I think the others start as well because everyone's distracted.
And in the background is the economy and the debt and the bond market and the inflation and everything culminating is all coming together in what we would call a perfect storm.
It's a great place to finish.
We better have a prayer, eh?
Yes.
Kyle, why don't you pray for us this week?
Love to. Father, thank you so much that you are king and that nobody can change that. So we thank you that we can be on your side. We thank you for these books that we can get a hold of, that we can pray, that we can open our Bibles, that we can draw closer to you. Because if we knew what was coming, we would do the work now and not wait for later. So I pray that you'd be with us as we intend to draw closer to you, as we strive to draw closer to you, and that you would lead us through this storm. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you for being here, Perfect Storm.
See you
Signing
next
off.
time.
Thank you so much. See you.